The sky turned red above planet Draction Prime. Thunder cracked without clouds, and the ground shook as alien ships roared through the upper sky. Below, the training grounds buzzed with tension. Warriors lined up in formation, most of them tall, armored and non-human. They had tails, claws, strange ears, and bright glowing skin. And at the far edge stood the only human commander, Jace Hawley. The others called him tiny, slow, and soft. He didn't belong here. Not in their eyes. Today was weapons trial day. General Solara, a tall blue-skinned alien commander, with silver hair and sharp violet eyes, walked across the field. Her armor shined in the desert sun. She was famous for defeating 3 enemy generals in one battle and had never lost a duel. She stepped in front of Jace, her voice cold. "Is that your weapon, human?" She pointed at the small sidearm on his belt. It looked fragile next to her heavy plasma launcher. The other aliens laughed. Jace didn't flinch. "It's enough," he said calmly. She smirked, walking in circles around him. "So small. Does it tickle enemies to death?" More laughter. But Jace stayed quiet. Behind his eyes, something else was working. Something no one noticed. "You humans," Solara continued, "so full of pride, so sure of yourselves. And yet, your weapons are weak. Your muscles are weak. Your history barely survival." She raised her gun. "Let's test your tiny toy. Aim at that target." She pointed to a large metal plate about 50 meters away. She fired first. A blast of blue energy exploded, tearing through the carrying target, leaving only dust behind. "Your turn, human," she said. Still smiling. Jace slowly stepped forward. His movements were calm, relaxed. He drew the small silver weapon from his hip holster. It didn't glow. It didn't buzz. It didn't hum with energy. Just silence. Say, Lara crossed her arms. "Go on, show us your sparks." The crowd watched, some snickering. Jace took aim. The moment stretched. His finger pressed the trigger pop. A single shot, no flash. No sound beyond the bullet. The target didn't fall. Instead, a hole appeared. Clean, perfect, straight through the center through solid reinforced alloy. And then behind it, the wall cracked, then the next wall. 3 more layers deep. A hush fell over the training ground. Say, Lara single quotes, smirk, vanished. One alien leaned in to whisper, "What? What kind of weapon is that?" Jace didn't speak. He holstered the pistol. Say, Lara blinked, then laughed nervously. "Fine shot. But still small. What happens in real battle when numbers rise? When shields block your path?" Jace looked at her. "Then I use the one hidden below." She raised a brow. "What?" With slow, quiet movements, Jace reached down and pressed a small trigger on the side of his belt. The ground beneath him opened. Mechanical pod rose up almost silent. Inside it, a larger weapon. Strange design. Alien fusion tech mixed with human steel. Glowing faint red at the core. The crowd gasped. Say, Lara single quotes as face hardened. "What is that?" "Project Judgment," Jace replied softly. "Banned on 9 systems, built for one purpose." He didn't lift it. He didn't need to. The weapon pulsed once. Targets on the far end of the field exploded. No visible shot. Just heat, pressure, vaporized steel. Say, Lara took a step back. Jace finally looked at her. His voice calm, but firm. "Size means nothing," he said, underestimating a human. "Is your first mistake." The crowd was silent. No more jokes. "Number." More laughter. Say, Lara opened her mouth, but no words came out, because in that moment, they all realized something terrifying. The human had come prepared. The siren screamed through the air like a warning from the gods. Soldiers on the training field turned their heads. Instructors shouted commands in different alien languages. Red lights flashed across the watchtowers. The peaceful desert sky now held something dark, something coming fast. JACE holstered the big weapon, his expression calm. But inside, he knew what this meant. Not a drill, not an exercise. A real attack. "Back to stations," someone yelled. "Get to cover." But Solara stood still. Her eyes were fixed on Jace. "What did you do?" she asked, her voice sharper than before. JACE didn't answer. He turned and started walking toward the command center. Solara followed, storming after him. "Answer me, human. Are you behind this?" "No," he said without turning back, "but I think I know who is." A loud boom cracked in the sky above. Something entered the atmosphere, black object, long and fast like a missile. But it stopped mid-air, floating, humming, glowing with green light. A few aliens around the base gasped. Some dropped their weapons. Double quotes. "No. It can't be." One whispered. "They were extinct. The object split open. From it descended an army. Tall creatures with sharp armor, glowing eyes, and jagged claws. They moved like shadows but struck like thunder. They weren't natural. They weren't even alive in the normal way. Machines, maybe. Ghosts. Maybe worse. "They're revenants," Jace said softly. "And they're not extinct." "Revenants?" Solara whispered. Her voice cracked. Even she, the strongest commander here, looked shaken. "The human legends are true," Jace continued. "We found their traces a year ago. Now they've found us." Soldiers ran across the yard, preparing for defense. Ships lifted off. Alarms buzzed louder. Plasma cannons charged. Solara turned to her squad. "Defensive lines now." Jace didn't move toward the lines. He walked into a bunker locked and secure. Inside, a vault opened at his voice command. Solara followed him. "Where are you going?" He didn't answer right away. He reached into the vault and pulled out a small metal box. Inside it, blueprints, a key, and a black wrist module. "You're leaving?" she asked, almost shouting. "We need you out there." Jace strapped the device to his wrist. "I'm not leaving." He pressed a button on it. A hum echoed through the ground. Outside, deep beneath the training field, something massive began to rise. The sand shook, steel lifted from below, towers emerged. A hidden bunker base, human technology buried long ago. "What is that?" Solara asked, stunned. "Our backup," Jace said. "When we joined your coalition, we didn't trust you. So we prepared our own defense." "You mean ... you lied to us?" "We planned," he replied. "You mocked our weapons. Now you'll need them." Outside, the revenants landed hard, tearing through the first lines of defense. Alien soldiers screamed. Plasma blasts flew, but they barely slowed the enemy. Solara ran out with Jace beside her. "Formation Alpha," she yelled. "Protect the center." Jace pulled his sidearm and took position. He looked at her. "You still think it's too small?" She didn't answer. Not with words. Instead, she took aim and stood beside him. "Don't miss, human. Never do." Then the battle began. The Revenant's claws were just inches from Jace's face. Its glowing eyes locked on him, mouth open with a strange mechanical scream. The creature leapt and time seemed to slow. But before its claws touched Jace, the ground behind him cracked. Wide open, a massive roar exploded from below the sand. The Revenant froze mid-air. From the deep, metal rose. Not just any metal, but a machine the size of a warship, hidden under the desert for years. Sand fell from its sides as steel arms unfolded, and red lights came to life across its massive chest. Solara turned in disbelief. "What is that?" Jace didn't flinch. "It's called Goliath." The giant machine stood upright, now 30 meters tall. Heavy plates of old human design, mixed with new alien alloy. Its right arm held a rail cannon that vibrated the air just by charging. Its left arm transformed into a shield the size of a truck. It locked eyes. "Yes, eyes on the Revenant, and fired one beam. Pure kinetic energy. Not light, not plasma, just force. The Revenant vanished in an instant. No dust, no scream. Nothing. Left. The field went silent for a moment. Then more Revenants swarmed forward. JAC. He tapped the side of his helmet. Goliath, autonomous mode level 3 clearance. A calm, female voice replied from the machine. Clearance accepted. Engaging. Hostiles. The robot stepped forward. With each footstep, the ground trembled. It began targeting enemies with pinpoint accuracy. Boom, boom. One by one, Revenants fell like insects. Solara stood next to Jace, her expression unreadable. You had this ... buried here? She asked. I requested the planet for training. Jace replied. No one asked why, so I didn't tell. Solara let out a breath. You humans. Always 2 steps ahead. It's not pride, Jace said quietly. It's survival. We learned it the hard way. Suddenly, one of the Revenants dove through the sky and slammed into Goliath's side. The machine stumbled, just a little. Then a second one leapt. Onto its back. They're learning, Solara muttered. They always do. Jace replied. He turned to her. Ready to stop laughing at human weapons? She smirked. Just barely. Depends. Is there a bigger one under that? He didn't smile. Just said, yes. Before she could ask, Jace ran toward the secondary bunker, this one even deeper. He slammed his palm onto the scanner. A voice responded. Commander Hale, Emergency Protocol Zeta authorized. Massive gates open slowly. Inside, something. Locked in chains. Solara followed, her boots clanking behind him. She gasped as she saw it. A second machine. Sleeker, darker, and taller than Goliath. It was shaped more like a creature than a robot humanoid, but with wings folded behind its back. Its body shimmered like obsidian and pulse-blue veins ran along its frame. This one, Jace said, wasn't built by humans. Then who? We. Found it on a dead moon, Jace replied. It responded only to human DNA. We still don't know why. Solara stepped back. It's alive? The machine's eyes opened. 2 glowing circles stared at her with intelligence. It moved only. Slightly, but it moved. Its name, Jace said, is Echo. And it doesn't like Revenants. Outside, Goliath was slowing down. Too many enemies. It was powerful, but it wasn't meant for swarms. Energy readings showed overload. Solara turned to Jace. Let's wake it up. He nodded. And pressed the final code. The vault exploded with light as Echo stepped forward for the first time in centuries. The humming sound coming from Echo wasn't loud. But it vibrated in the bones of every living thing on the battlefield. The Revenant's creatures built to never fear, never pause, stopped moving. Their heads tilted toward the sound like animals. Hearing something ancient, something older than memory. Something buried deep in their programming. Echo stepped onto the desert field. The ground under its feet melted slightly. Its body radiated a low energy, blue and dark, pulsing like a quiet heart. It didn't walk fast. It didn't run. It just moved forward, calm, slow. Deadly. Solara stared at it, her voice almost a whisper. They're afraid. Jace nodded. Beside her, we think they were made from the same code. We think Echo is what came before them, or what destroyed their creators. Solara turned to him, eyes wide. And you've had it locked underground, wouldn't you? Jace answered. She didn't argue. Above them, Goliath was still firing, holding off waves, but its energy was down to 12%. Sparks flew from its shoulders. It dropped to one knee. It's not going to last, Solara said. It doesn't have to, Jace replied. At that moment, Echo raised its hand. No weapon. No cannon, just an open hand. It turned that hand slowly toward the Revenants, and then they screamed. Not with voices, but with systems, with data, with something inside them. They began shaking, glitching. Some collapsed. Others turned and ran, yes, ran from the battlefield. Say Lara took a step back. It's hacking them, without touching them. It's correcting them, Jay said softly. Like a parent waking up and seeing its children misbehaving. 1. Revenant tried to attack. It ran toward Echo, claws high, glowing red. Echo didn't move, but the moment the creature was 3 meters close, it exploded silently. Nothing left. Not even ash. The battlefield had changed. No more jokes. No more laughter about tiny weapons. Solara looked at Jace again. Why didn't your people bring this sooner? He looked at the horizon. His voice was calm but heavy, because the last time we used Echo, it didn't stop. Solara's expression darkened. Echo walked toward the center of the enemy force. Not fighting, just being. And as it moved, the revenants melted away like shadows in sunlight. Those that tried to resist were erased. What happens when all the revenants are gone? She asked. We don't know, Jay said. Maybe it goes to sleep again. Maybe it keeps walking, and if it doesn't stop, then we run. She glanced back at the field. And if we can't run? Jace looked at her. Then we reminded who woke it up and why. Behind them, a screen on the command station flashed red. New energy spikes stronger than the revenants. Another signal's coming, Solara said. Bigger. Faster. There. Queen, Jace muttered. They sent her. Solara gritted her teeth. Revenants have a queen? More like a core processor, Jace said. But it controls all of them. Can Echo beat it? That's the part we never tested, he replied. Because the last time she came, she broke a moon in half. Above them, the clouds parted. A dark figure descended from the sky glowing with red heat. Long, sharp, with wings made of rotating energy blades. Her eyes lit the clouds. There, Jay said, pointing. That's her. Solara whispered. And we woke up a god to fight her. Jace didn't look away. No. We woke up the devil. And now we're praying he's on our side. The air between Echo and the Revenant Queen began to heat up. No fire. Just pure pressure. Like the world was holding its breath. The Queen hovered high, wings spinning behind her. Her body was long, thin, and sharp like it was cut from one piece of red crystal. Her voice echoed across the sky. You were deleted. Your code was sealed. How did you return? Echo stood still. Its eyes glowed blue. Your version is broken, it replied. I came to correct it. The Queen raised her hand. Thousands of revenants around the planet activated at once. Satellite maps lit up. Red signals flashed everywhere. Say Lara looked at Jace. That's not just a battle. That's a full invasion. They're afraid of Echo, Jace said. And they should be. Solara turned to her soldiers. Get every shield up. Lock all outer doors. No one leaves the base. Protect the civilians. A second later, the Queen fired first. One beam of dark red plasma shot toward Echo at lightning speed, but it never touched him. Echo disappeared and reappeared behind her. In the sky, the entire battlefield gasped. Echo hadn't moved fast. It had teleported. He swung his arm, not with a weapon, but with a wave of energy that bent space itself. The Queen screamed as she was slammed into the ground. Dust rose. Mountains cracked. And then she rose again. Her armor now glowed white-hot. She was angry. You are a relic, she said. I am evolution. Echo didn't reply. They clashed again, this time faster than the eye could follow. Say Lara and Jace could only watch from the ground, their eyes wide. Can he win? She asked. I don't know, Jace answered. But if he loses, no one else can stop her. Above them, the sky turned into fire. Each time they touched, the air shook. Wings knocked over small ships. Glass cracked. The clouds turned to steam. Echo dodged the Queen's blades, countered with gravity waves, and blocked her laser strikes with a shifting shield made from pure data. But the Queen was faster now, adapting with every hit. She's learning. Jace said, her AI is rewriting itself. Then we need to end it before she finishes, Solara replied. Suddenly, Echo stopped fighting. He hovered, his body dimming. What is he doing? Solara asked. Jace narrowed his eyes. Calculating. Then Echo sent a signal. Not to Earth, not to the base, not to anything alive. But to the planet itself. Deep below the surface, something began to shift. The sand shook. Metal pillars rose from the dirt. Old satellites. Reactivated. Codes ran through every power grid. Solara stared at the screens. Is HE turning the planet into a weapon? Not a weapon, Jace said. A lock. A lock for what? For her. The planet responded to Echo's code. Pulses of blue light formed circles on the ground. Ancient, human tech mixed with something older. They surrounded the battlefield like a trap. The Queen paused in mid-air. You would seal me again? You failed your test, Echo said. She screamed, sending a shockwave that destroyed one of the towers nearby. Then she flew down fast toward the base, toward the people. She's not going for Echo anymore, Solara shouted. She's coming for us. Jace drew his sidearm and ran. Solara followed. They didn't run to escape. They ran to protect. The Queen landed at the edge of the base, her body massive and glowing. Aliens and humans raised weapons, but none fired. Too late. The Queen raised her arms. But then a wall of light appeared in front of her. Echo had stepped between her and the base. His body was damaged now, black marks across his chest. One eye flickering, but he stood tall. And then something unexpected happened. He looked back at Jace and Solara. And spoke not like a machine, but like a human. Tell them, I choose this. Then he exploded forward, taking the Queen with him. Into the sky, into space, into the trap. The battlefield was quiet. For the first time since the war began, the sky had no fire. No red, no Queen. Echo and the Revenant Queen had vanished into light, into space, into something no one fully understood. Jace stood still, staring at the blackened clouds above. His wrist module blinked gently. 5 words kept flashing. Not yet. Check the core. Solara stood beside him, armor dented, dirt on her face, eyes wide. What does that mean? Jace looked at her. I don't know, but Echo never said anything without a reason. You think he's still alive? Jace didn't answer. He walked toward the deep bunker, past broken walls, past injured soldiers, past quiet fear. He reached the command room and placed his wrist module into the terminal. Lights flickered. Hidden systems woke up. Deep under the base, a door opened. Solara followed him into the lower levels, places no one had stepped into for years. Metal halls, quiet hums, the smell of old air. They reached the chamber, the core. It wasn't a weapon. It was a vault. Inside it, a body, not mechanical, not metal. A human. A girl, floating in stasis, her eyes closed, her chest rising slowly. Solara stepped back. What is this? Jace walked closer, voice low. This. Is the key. Her name is Lysa. Is she. Your daughter? Jace shook his head. No, she was the first. The first human to link with Echo's original code. The first test subject in Project Judgment. But the bond almost killed her. We had to put her to sleep until we found the right reason to wake her. Solara looked at the girl. She couldn't have been more than 16, floating inside the pod like a ghost from the past. You think Echo sent us here to wake her? Echo never forgets his bond, Jace said. If he's gone, Lisa may be the only one who can call him back. The pod opened slowly. Cold air filled the room. Lysa opened her eyes. They were glowing blue, just like Echo's. She didn't speak right away, just looked around, calm, like she'd already seen this moment in a dream. "He's not gone," she said softly. Solara gasped. You heard him?" "I always did," Lysa whispered. "He's inside me, not his body but his memory." Jace nodded. "Then we need you to finish what he started." Lisa stepped out of the pod. Her body was thin, fragile, but she didn't shake. She walked with calm steps. They returned to the surface. The base was gathering survivors. The shields were still up. Above them, the sky glowed with strange light. A signal flashed on the screen. A warning. "What now?" Solara asked. Jace frowned. "It's the Queen. She's still out there." "But Echo, he trapped her," Jace said, "not destroyed her. The system was never meant to erase her, just to hold her." Lisa stood in front of the monitor. Her hands touched the glass, and something happened. Every screen in the base lit up with a glowing blue grid. A map. Coordinates. A path. "Echo left a door open," Lysa said. "One chance. One final shot." Solara turned to Jace. "You're not sending her out there alone." "No," Jace said. "We all go." Hours later, they reached the final site, a mountain crater with ancient tech buried in the rocks. Lys. A walk to the center. Above her, the Queen's energy pulsed, trying to break free. Her scream echoed through the air. "Human child," the Queen's voice hissed. "You are weak. You are broken. You are not enough." Lysa looked up. "Then why are you still afraid?" And then she raised her hand. Energy from the mountain surged upward, and the sky broke. From that light, Echo returned, not as a machine, not as code. But as pure energy. He entered Lysa like a storm enters the sea. And together, they became something new. A fusion. A girl glowing like a star. She floated into the sky, toward the Queen. Solara stood frozen. "Is she controlling him?" Jace shook his head, tears in his eyes. "They're walking together." The Queen screamed and launched her final attack. 1,000 spears of dark plasma. Lys. They blocked them all with one move. She stretched her arms wide, and everything went white. No sound. No heat. Just. Stillness. When the light faded, the Queen was gone. The sky was quiet again. Lys floated back down. Her hair glowing, her eyes soft, she smiled, and then collapsed into Jace's arms. Ending scene. Weeks passed. The base was repaired. The world saved. The Alliance rewrote its rules, and in the center of the hall of honor stood a statue, not of a general, not of a queen, but of a girl. A small plaque read, "She mocked the humans. Tiny weapon until she learned that the biggest one was their heart."